How's it going, guys? It's me, Simon, and this is the Stanley Parable Part 3. Let's get it on! We escaped once, and now we are here again.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Any more options? Okay. Let's go right again.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Okay, we're going to the lounge again.
Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Okay. I can't go back out.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, let's go left this time.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section,
We're in this room
walked
again.
straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Okay, we've been to the lift. Let's go straight. Let's see what happens here. We're in the meeting room
Yet there was
again.
not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay. Broom closet. Let's not go there this time. Wait, let's go down.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Let's go downstairs. Ooh, should we go? Is there more stairs? What's this room? Oh, there's no room. Files. No. Okay, where am I now? Oh, there's a car.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream.
It's all a dream.
What a relief
That's
Stanley
why.
felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually
going in circles.
He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself,
my God.
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons.
Wait.
I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So,
Let me out.
he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What?
Then he
Let's
imagined
start
himself
flying.
soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared.
What?
It was so much fun.
I'm in
And
space.
Stanley marveled that he had
I'm in
still not
space.
given up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps
Wow.
the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
That is very
Now
true.
the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it
Let's
particularly
go back to
strange.
space.
I'm dreaming
I like
about a
space.
voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now
Let me in the car.
as he's
Let me in
ever
the car.
been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
Okay, it's
Let
just a
me
dark
wake
screen.
up,
We close
he thought to
our eyes.
himself.
Let's all close our
I'm
eyes.
through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please.
Anything
It's
happened
all
yet?
I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be
affirmation, man.
fine. I am okay.
I'm okay. Oh, this is the same.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real.
Oh
Please,
my
just someone
God.
tell me I am real. I must
Everything's
be
going
real.
red.
I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman
What?
named Mariella.
We're now a woman.
Mariella woke up on a
We're now
day
female.
like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the
struck all
pavement.
the time.
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Oh, that's funny. If you enjoyed this gameplay video, leave me a like and please consider subscribing if you want more content like this. Okay, thank you for watching. Peace.
I can hear your laughter coming waves across the shore. Oh, maybe you could fly my kite, babe. Maybe you could fly my kite, babe. I can hear your laughter coming waves across the shore. Oh, maybe you could fly my kite, babe. Maybe you could fly my kite, babe.